G'day guys, welcome back to Aussie Savvy Cents, where we talk about Australian personal finance, investing in property, shares, and of course, precious metals. Now today I thought we'd go through some of my worst performing silver and gold in my portfolio. And I thought the best way to showcase that would be through these little, sort of like a certificate, where we go through what the asset is, how much of the gold is held in troy ounces, how much it actually cost me to actually purchase the gold, and what the average cost per ounce of the purchase of gold would be, what the current spot price is, as well as the current value of the item, and we also talk about the unrealized gain and loss in both a dollar figure and percentages. Now, bear in mind, all of this was going to be in Australian dollars, and at the time of filming, it is the 3rd of August of 2026, so these are the current spot prices that we see here today as I'm recording it. That would be $5,794.87 per ounce in Australian dollars for gold, and for silver it's currently sitting at $83.39 per ounce. So, without further ado, let's start off with the gold, and I'll start off with the gold numismatics first and foremost. Before I get into the gold bullion, I want to showcase what the differences are between the two in terms of the cost, in terms of the premiums that I've had to pay, unfortunately. We're going to get into that a little bit later, but first I'd just like to quickly interrupt this video by giving you guys a quick thank you. First of all, I mean, I only started this YouTube channel about a month ago, and I was stoked when I first reached 10 subscribers, and I've blinked and here we are a month later, and I have well over 100 subscribers, and that's truly shocking and surprising, and I'm very grateful and very thankful that you guys have seen all my videos and shown support, and I've learned so much from you guys as well when you guys put in the comments and, you know, educated me a little bit about some of these gold and silver coins that I had, which has been fantastic. I absolutely love this community. I absolutely love you guys, and honestly, I'd just like to say thank you for, you know, achieving more than 100 subscribers, and it's encouraging me to do better and to give you guys better content out there. So I'd just like to say thank you, and I appreciate you all. So let's get back to the video. So let us begin. So this is one of my worst performing pieces of gold, a numismatic gold that I have. This is the Sydney Mint Australia, 1 sovereign, and it is an 1870 beautiful historic gold sovereign that I have here. So let's fill in these details here. So this is the 1870 sovereign. It is 0.2354 troy ounces. The total acquisition cost for this sovereign would have been $1,995. The average cost per ounce for this coin would have been, at the time, the spot price, that would have been $8,474.93. Again, this is in Australian dollars. So therefore, using the current spot price, today's value, this coin, this beautiful piece of gold, Aussie gold that I have here, this would be worth $1,363.92, which means I have an unrealized loss on this coin of about $631. Plus some change, which is about 8 cents. That means I've roughly lost about 31.63%. So that's it, guys. This is the cost of having a numismatic coin. More or less the cost of having a numismatic coin. This beautiful numismatic coin, and it's costed me 31.63%. I bought this coin only a couple of months ago, really. So after the 2 months, I've lost 31% of its value. How sad is that? Now, mind you, this is also a numismatic coin. So when I did buy the coin, it did have about a 20 to 25% premium on top of this. So if you minus that out of the 31.63% there, yeah, I've lost roughly about 5 to 10% in terms of its gold value, with the current spot price of gold slowly slipping downwards as at the time of filming this. So that's the gold numismatic, well, my worst performing gold numismatic item that I have. Now let's go into the silver. This one will probably also be a pretty upsetting one, at least for myself it is, an upsetting showcase of its performance. I bought this coin not too long ago. Let's say it's only been about, I think, it would have been about 4 weeks ago, almost a month ago now. Now, this is a Spanish 8 reales, also known as a Spanish dollar. It's an 1800 coin here. And thank you guys for those of you who actually watched my shorts and actually gave me a few reasons as to why this coin actually had a bit of a brown side to it. It's not the fact that it's not genuine. It certainly is, apparently. It's just the fact that it may have been stored improperly over its life. But hey, it's a nice little numismatic gold, silver coin that I have, silver piece that I have. So yeah, let's go into the numbers of what it cost me to acquire it over the last month. So the Spanish 8 reals. So Spanish 8 reals, that actually is, I believe it's 0.798 troy ounces. So it's just shy of 0.8 troy ounces of silver. Now the cost of this coin was $189. These things usually go for a really significant premium. Now the average cost of this coin at the time, for this price, it should be $236.84. So that's how much the spot price should have been if I was to buy this coin, this beautiful looking piece, at its spot price for its silver content. But obviously, the silver current spot price of silver is definitely not $236.84 an ounce. So current spot price of it, $83.39, which means that its current value is only $66.51. Now that would also mean that I have here another loss, and that loss would be $122.49. It works out to be about, ouch, 64% loss on this beautiful piece. Now, again, these are numismatic coins, and I'll get into the bullion very soon, but these numismatic coins, yeah, they do carry such a significant premium. And of course, that premium does happen to eat into its performance if you're just tracking the spot price of silver and gold. So always bear that in mind whenever you are buying these numismatic gold or silver coins, that they always will have some sort of a premium that will eat into the performance of these. You can't really consider these things as pure investments, to invest in these purely for its metal content. They are going to be very expensive, as we see here. I've only held these coins just for a couple of months. Well, for the silver Spanish reals, it would have been 1 month. And for the gold, Australian sovereign, that was only a couple of months. But as you can see here, we're looking at, really poor performances of 64% and 31.63% in such a short time frame. So always bear that in mind, that when you are buying these numismatic coins, please buy them primarily for its collectability. Don't buy them thinking that they're going to be, you're buying them for the bullion silver content in them. That's not the case there. As you can see, it does eat into its performance. Now, of course, that was a very short time frame. And of course, not a lot of you guys would be buying these numismatic coins to invest in precious metals. So let's get into more of a bullion investment. Showcase a bit of the bullion investment and see how they have performed over a similar time frame. We'll start off with the gold, and let me reset these numbers over here. If you bear with me for a few minutes, cueing the music from the elevators. All right, so let's look at some bullion gold and silver and see how they have performed, well, how badly they have performed in this case. So this one here is my 1/10 ounce Britannia. This is from 2026. It's a beautiful, tiny looking coin. And I bought this, would have been 2 months ago as well. So this is a 10th ounce Britannia. Let's see how it's performed in those 2 months. So this is 1/10 Britannia. It is 0.10 troy ounces. And the acquisition cost for this coin, this tiny coin, which is what I could afford at the time, would have been 750.50, which means if I was buying this at spot, at that price, the spot price should have been $7,505. And as you can see, the spot price currently is only $5,794.87. So that means its value currently is only $579.40, let's call it 49 cents. Which leaves me with a bit of a, well, it may sound like a bit, but as percentage-wise, it's actually quite a lot. It's a loss of $171.01, which means this is a 22.79%. Now, I did the math on this coin when I first bought it, and the premium they charged me, this bullion dealer, for this 1/10 ounce of a coin was about 17%, okay? So seeing a loss of around only about 5.79% over the last 2 months, yeah, it does sound like a lot, but it's still a bit of a loss, unfortunately, over the last 2 months. So realistically, yeah, it's about 5% loss, more or less, that we see here, I'm afraid. Now that's with gold, and that's over the last 2 months. This is the worst performing bullion gold that I have. Let's have a look at the worst performing silver, and this one's going to be very, very tragic. At least it is for me. So let us again reset this. Okay, so now let's move on to the silver bullion, my worst silver bullion investment, the worst performing that I have. This is my 10th ounce ABC Bullion fine silver cast bar. Look at that. It is such a weight. I really do love it. The size of it is amazing. It looks so nice, especially the back here. It feels so smooth and shiny. Sorry, I know we're supposed to be talking numbers here, but I just want to appreciate this bar for a second. It is quite a expensive, let's say, paperweight, but absolutely love it. Let me know if you guys absolutely love cast bars. It's just amazing. I don't know if I'm going to buy another one of these, because if I take you through the numbers, you'll see why. So this is a 10 ounce bar. $10 silver bar that I've got. Obviously it's 10 troy ounces. And the cost of this, and I bought this right at the peak, it would have been the start of February, is when I first purchased it. And as we know, it was towards the end of January when the silver price started to plummet. So I actually bought this at 1,684 Australian dollars and 40 Australian cents. $1,684. Average cost per ounce on this would be 168 Australian dollars. That is literally pretty much the peak price for us in Australian dollars, that is, before silver took a massive hit. In the United States, I know it's about 120 US dollars. In Australia, it would have been 168, somewhere around there. So I pretty much bought it as the peak, and I was keeping a very close eye at the bullion dealer, trying to make sure that maybe I could get into this silver bar while there was a little bit of a dip before it starts going back up again. But unfortunately, it didn't go back up, and obviously the bullion dealer, they tried to hold prices high, thinking that it might actually rebound, but it never really did, and I bought it, unfortunately. So 168 average cost per ounce, $1,684. You know what the current spot price of silver is right now. It's $83.38, which means this bar is only worth $833.90. And if you can already do the math right now, it is tragic. So the loss on this bar that I have is $850. Oops, sorry. Yeah, $850.42. And that works out to be a 50% loss on a bar, on an investment that I made not 6 months ago. 50% of its value, literally half of the value of this when I first bought it is pretty much wiped, gone. Sad days, very sad days. So yeah, that is my worst performing silver bullion that I have. So some of you guys may be wondering, why am I even talking about my worst performing silver and gold? And you may have also noticed that the worst performing silver and gold that I had, I've only acquired them within the last 6 months. And I'll get more into it just a little bit later. I'd like to do one more quick activity. And let's put these ones aside for the moment. And that little quick activity is I just want to show you guys one more performance of a bullion asset. Well, I say they're assets, but they're really more store of wealth. A bullion store of wealth that has actually performed a little bit better than these. And it's this. This, ladies and gentlemen, is this is technically one of my very first investments. This is an entire tube of 25 1-ounce silver Australian Perth Mint kangaroos. And if we pop them down, let's showcase this a little bit more nicely. Pop them down. Look at that. Beautiful pieces of bullion coin. This is a 2023 bullion coin. So yes, I bought this back in 2023. It would have been May of 2023. That was the first time I've ever invested in any kind of precious metals. As you can see here with Queen Elizabeth II, this is pretty much the memorial coin that shows her reigning years, and she passed in 2022. So yeah, there's a tube of 25 ounces, and I actually bought this straight from the Perth Mint, which was a bit of a foolish choice to do at the time, because I didn't realize that I could have actually bought these from a local bullion dealer. I didn't think to actually look for local coin shops or bullion dealers to actually acquire this. So I actually paid a really hefty delivery fee for it. But hey, it's something you'll learn as a new stacker. So let's go through the numbers on these beautiful 25 1-ounce silver kangaroos that I got here and I purchased 3 years ago, one of my first investments in precious metals. So this is a 25 times silver kangas, and I have 25 troy ounces. The acquisition costs at the time, back in May of 2023, would have been $1,069.50. This is in Australian dollars once again, please remember. Now, if I bake in the ridiculously high cost of delivering these coins to my door, that is the actual cost of it. So that's baked in. So that means it's about $42.78, Australian dollars that is. $42.78 per ounce that I pretty much bought these beautiful coins for. Now that means, with the current spot price being $83.39 today, its current value is now $2,084.75, which means this has gained me, well, unrealized gain of $1,015.25, which works out to be 94.91% over the course of a little bit over 3 years. Now that, ladies and gentlemen, is a great investment. A great investment that I have made 3 years ago. So that works out to be about, let's say, 30 to 31% per year over the last 3 years that you've seen these beautiful coins gain. And even with the recent, drops of more than 50% of silver's spot price that we've seen from January all the way through to today, even with that drop, I'm still up. I'm still up by 94.91%, which is fantastic to see. It's the greatest performing precious metal asset that I have. So that leads me back to, again, why am I even talking about, first of all, the worst performing bullion, silver and gold that I had, as well as some of the best, well, one of the best that I have. And unfortunately, I don't have gold to showcase here to you guys because I only bought gold quite recently, and so therefore I don't have any that have actually performed well yet. But the reason why I'm doing this exercise is really, it's a way to show you guys that, first and foremost, when it comes to investing in these beautiful pieces of metal rock, as some would say, this is a long-term game. Precious metals, like any other asset such as property and shares, these things are long-term games. If you're looking for a simple get-rich-quick scheme, this is not for you. This is not for you because, as you can see, if you're holding this only for a time frame of 1 month or 2 months or even 6 months, you're not going to see those gains. You're likely to see losses like I have with this beautiful bar, with my numismatic coins, with even the gold coins. They say gold is a stable coin, or a store of wealth, but as you can see, it does fluctuate as well in such short time periods. But give it a long enough time, a time frame of, I would have to say, more than 6 months, more than a year, more than 3 years, and you can actually start to see some results, as you can see with my showcase of one of my oldest investments. So it's a very, very important lesson. Investing in silver and gold, at least for me, is a time frame, an investment time frame of at least 3 to 4 decades. That's my goal. I intend to only sell or think of start to sell some of these once I reach retirement. But in the meantime, the price can go down. It's gone down 50% for gold. Sorry, 50% for silver. It's gone down 30% for gold. I genuinely do not care what happens to it. And I don't care that I've lost 50% on this bar. I'm going to hold this for a very long time. a very, very long time. I'm not realizing that loss of more than $850, that loss of more than 50%. I had no intention of selling it. So I hope you find this video a little bit more insightful and a little bit more comforting to know that when you see gold or silver or even any other investment assets that fluctuate in price and drop as much as it has over these last 6 to 7 months, take comfort in knowing that, you know, it's just background noise. You know, if you're looking at it at a lens of only 6 months to a year, I'm afraid you're not in the right asset to be investing in if you're looking for, you know, a quick profit, a quick gain, you know. But if you're looking at a lens of more than 3 years, a decade maybe, a couple of decades, or like myself, 3 to 4 decades, then you're in a good space. You shouldn't have to worry about what the price does in the meantime. So I hope you've enjoyed this video, and I wanted to really put out the numbers of the worst performing silver and gold out there. Not only just to showcase to you guys, you know, that you shouldn't just be investing in it, you know, for such a short period of time, but also to be very comfortable in sharing and accepting that, yes, you know, in the short term, you're going to see these beautiful pieces of gold and silver drop in such values. And we should be comfortable about that. I'm comfortable about it. I'm comfortable showing you guys the numbers, and I hope you guys are too. Let me know in the comments below, have you got any investments that you've made in the last 6 to 8 months or in the last year, and you've seen, you know, a lot of your gains just get wiped out and you're in a loss? You know, what are you guys doing about it? You know, are you guys going to sell? And I really hope you don't. Are you guys going to hold on to it? Is that your goal? To hold on to it for the long term, like myself, just as precious metals should always be. And of course, please don't take any of this as financial advice. What I've done, everything that I've done, all the numbers I've shown you, these are my decisions and my decisions alone. So please always do your own research and always seek professional financial advice before making any investment decisions. And if you've enjoyed this video, please give it a like and do subscribe to my channel if you guys want to see more videos such as this. And I'll see you in the next one. Take care.